but they can dream about the temperature of objects. They can dream about the sharpness of a line that they have touched. They can dream about voices and about emotions and all of those things that they feel in the world around them because that's what they know. Well, similarly, we could not dream a world that is beyond our senses. We cannot make phrases with words that we do not know. So, this conditioning that we have is taking a lot of freedom away from us. Like if we were pure mind, we wouldn't have to worry about words to express ourselves. When you think now as an adult and you look into your head as you think, you kind of probably hear words in your native language. In our family, we speak three languages all the time, and sometimes I find myself thinking in three languages also. But one thing I can never get back to is how did I think before I learned the language? What did my thoughts look like then? How did I plan what I wanted to communicate when I didn't have the power of words? And so our conditioning, things that we have learned, limits us badly. And it is with our mind that we create the illusion of separation. And it is our mind that is ignorant because there is so much that it doesn't have access to. All of these things that I have just named are beyond our reach, beyond our conceptual reach. We know that it's out there, but how to describe it? How do you describe the feeling of a mountaintop to somebody that's never been there? So it is also our mind that connect the causes and conditions. I see that if I spill juice on my desk, then my desk becomes sticky. If I had come at different part of this process, if I didn't see the juice being spilled, all I would know is a sticky desk. But since I've been a witness to those events, in my mind, I play the story. And we tend, after that, to walk to any sticky desk and blame it on juice, while it could have been something else that's been spilled. It could be just a sticky desk made of sticky material also. So our mind has this stories that it tells itself about the causes and conditions of everything. And we use those conclusions to navigate the world afterwards, and it really limits us. Um, I don't remember who said that, but they said that once somebody has explained the concept of a bird to you, you can never see the bird again. Like if you were alone in the woods seeing a bird for the first time, you would probably be fascinated by this living thing that you have never seen. You would look in a very detailed way at the wings, at the beak, at the eye, at the feathers, at the way that it flies. What a marvel it would be. But imagine you're a kid and you're with your parents and you say, "Hey, what is that?" And they say, "Oh, it's a bird. There are little animals that fly." But you will probably go, "Oh, okay," and you will look elsewhere because the mystery has been solved. So conditioning is when the mystery of life is taken away from us. And to live in a conditioned existence is almost to be the living dead. It's only when you're curious and when you're digging in the mystery that there's life, that you're really using all of your intelligence and all of your sensitivity to dance with the world. And so, without your mind and causes and conditions and all of these concepts, how could life and death exist? It would still be just the process we've spoken about so much. I think the main thing is that when you believe in your own illusions and in your own conditioning, you are reacting. Actually, you are overreacting to shadows on the wall. And I used to tell this story. Uh, Imagine that I don't know, you're a Caucasian person, and at some point uh, you cross the street and you meet a Chinese person who's having a very bad day, and they start insulting you, or I don't know, they like you're in the way and they push you and insult you, and it's your first contact with a Chinese person. You might want to have this sense, this idea that, oh, Chinese people are aggressive. Chinese people in the street. You might start developing a sense of it. And then let's say you go somewhere else after that day and you meet another Chinese person, and this Chinese person is also rude with you. That's kind of confirmation. And after two or three of these events, you will say, well, or you will think something like, oh, these Chinese people, they're very bad. And so the next time you meet a nice Chinese person, and this one's actually nice, but you don't see it anymore because you're afraid you're going to be pushed, you're going to be insulted, you're going to be. So you start acting like a jerk because of the projection that you've made of that Chinese person. So you are not in contact with reality anymore. And this has a name in psychiatry, and it's called psychosis. You are not in contact with that new Chinese person that you have met. You are in contact with your idea of what a Chinese person is. And we do that all the time. Racism, obviously, is a very good illustration of that. But sexism and anything that ends in ism, basically, is a form of discrimination and a form of separation. So if you're stuck in any ism, chances are that you're reacting from the idea of things a lot more than you are reacting to the things themselves. Now, if you're just having those automatic behaviors, you're playing back a record. There's nothing intelligent in that behavior. It's just something that you have learned, and that's the way you're going to act from now on. So that's what I mean by you're overreacting to shadows on the wall. These things, these are non-events. It has no reality. But if you can take those shadows for what they are, if at the moment of meeting like the fourth or the fifth Chinese person, you say, "Oh wait, I have this belief, and I have been mistreated by Chinese people before, but maybe this one is nice." Then you start to create space for something else to happen. Then you start to create freedom in your life. You give permission to yourself to act differently and to welcome that person differently. And you also give space for that person to grow. And that's a loving gesture. Um, and then you are using your intelligence because you will kind of judo this entire new situation into existence instead of just having a script
Да,
prepared.
да, ты зажег. А теперь вопрос на зацепку. Как я с ними буду общаться?
So basically, if you can take the shadows for what they
Это
are,
секта какая-то или
your
что?
peace won't be troubled. Suffering is always brought about by the mind.
Это секта.
But if you don't believe, actually, one thing that is common in not in
Ты
today's world
можно?
is that we give way too much importance to the things that we think, and this is what brings about suffering. I just usually like to take it to the other extreme. I like to say every thought that you have is a lie, and I know some people react strongly to this. What? Every thought that I have is a lie? No, no, no. My thoughts are very true, or they feel it. But actually, every thought that you have, as I was kind of demonstrating earlier, is based on language and is based on experience and is based on a very limited experience of the world, actually. So it is a lie from the perspective that it is incomplete. It is incomplete truth. So you cannot completely rely on incomplete
Надо,
truth.
надо как-то...
If you do that, then you will have an inadequate reaction to your surroundings. It will bring it. So in a way, we could say that a confused mind leads to confused actions, which also lead to painful consequences. So I know. Hello. I know of a person that for some reason ha has trouble differentiating love and money. This person, when they were young, were spoiled, were given money instead of being given love, and they kind of mixed it in their life. And so now a lot of their actions are based to get money, or they feel that money is the answer in life. That's what they're really after. They became very greedy, and they don't really
Не,
know
мне
how to
страшно,
give
я
in
не
order
буду
to
там
receive
стоять, да
that.
бред какой-то.
So it creates a bunch of uh,
Послушай, скажешь,
consequences
я
that are
подумаю.
pretty undesirable.
Они у меня все молчат, я все равно
So
что-то
that's
говорю.
just an illustration, but
Они
we are confused in our actions in many ways. While a lucid mind that is not feeling threatened, that doesn't
Он
feel like it
молчит у меня, я
needs to
подошел,
react to
типа,
things
ребята,
all the
вы
time,
знаете? Они все молчат,
uh,
все равно.
just
У меня
leads to lucid actions, and
обновился
they in
этот,
turn bring about peaceful consequences.
у меня клиент обновился, и кое-что добавили,
If you
очень
are acting
понравилось
from
ему, то есть
a
он получил
confused
деньги.
sender, and
Вот,
you are experiencing the painful
видеоплеер
consequence, you may
онлайн
also
теперь на
experience bad
Steam.
conscience or remorse, and that in turn
Новый
can
App Store.
deteriorate your experience in life. I always like to point out that
Привет, Ильяна
Tibetans
Солнышко. Я не знаю,
didn't
смотрите ли
know
вы эту
what
Яну между нами
guilt
друзья,
was
просто чтобы
until they
разделить
met
свою
Westerners.
свет. А
It's a
глубокий
feeling
сон.
that was unknown in
Да.
Tibet uh,
Нет, я
because
его
they consider it to be
ладно, вы не
the
знаете. Ладно,
most
напишите мне
useless
потом.
way to spend your time.
Вы 100%
Now
мне
that now
говорите.
that I have acted badly and that this has been done, why should I dwell and keep on
А
beating
это вот
myself?
так не было. Я
No, they have a
спрашиваю.
very practical, like,
Итак,
you did something bad. Did you
чтобы
understand?
настоящий
Yeah. Are you gonna do it again? No.
Hello.
Well, then move on.
I
There's
am
no
sorry,
need
I
to
don't hear.
spend 15 years hating yourself for what happened, like we tend to do in the West.
Я он же говорит.
They were better off without us.
Ты говоришь что-то? Я не слышу.
So
Я не слышу его.
when you believe that the world is so serious,
Dear
you tend
friend.
to fight it.
Все,
You tend to resist
стоп,
it.
стоп, come to me, брат.
And as we know,
Я,
what you resist
я
persists.
нашел.
So
Я нашел,
it's not a good way uh, to have a more peaceful. But when you let them go, then you have a smoother ride. And when the ride is smooth, and I think this is a very important point there. When the ride is smooth, you are spending a lot less energy in your neurosis. You have more energy than to spend on the things that matter, such as your life projects or your self-realization or taking care of other people that you like. So yeah,
Это
I
тупо собрание программистов
that's
каких-то.
a theory of mind only, in a nutshell, that we are creating our life circumstances from our mind, and it goes beyond uh, just like the secret and manifesting things for this Buddhist school of thought. It is actually a thing. Like this world doesn't exist anywhere else than in your mind, and the way that you will allow this world to exist in your mind will determine the quality of your experience while you live in it. So is that clear? Do you have questions or commentaries about that? Anything you would like to challenge, maybe?
No, that's really clear.
Good. Nobody? Okay. So then we can move on to a little meditation session, and today I am going to do. I'm not sure. Oh,
Excuse me, give me a minute.
I want. I wanted to do
Урок закончился. Hello, friend.
Hello there. I'm just
Oh.
asking because we have an actual session in process we have been practicing for. If it would be possible not to get too close to the temple for a little bit longer, at least. That's
Ребята, теперь translate, please, me, что он сказал.
just a little bit. It's almost over.
Короче, не мешать. Надо не мешать им.
Окей.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Just for those that are new, usually to make sure that no cell phone rings or something like that during meditation. We all mute off. It's a little bit more peaceful. And let's start with shamatha practice, where we will simply focus our attention in the out breath. And then as you get into that, your entire body, and your head, top of the cranium, to your jaw, releasing tensions everywhere. Make sure your back is straight, neck straight, that they are both relaxed. That your arms are sitting comfortably relaxed. Your legs are relaxed. Since we're going to dive deep in the mind, let us just close our eyes this time. Tends to make our thoughts more vivid. So let us close our eyes and explore what our mind remember. Your mind calm, or is it storm filled, taking you left and right, up and sitting? Don't serve tea to your thoughts. Let them go. Notice them and able the thinking. And then notice a space between them. And as you relax, the space should grow less. And the thoughts should be breathing, leaving. Bring back the mind just a wit's thought process. Let us breathe deep and let us dive deep into our relation. Feel the belly. see how your body reacts to it. Are you startled by it? Does it trigger various thoughts in your mind? Is there an emotion? These things are going on inside of you all of the time. Meditation is the opportunity to develop a sense of intimacy with your own thoughts. It is a to use it to enter for the first time. All of the deeper dive below. As we move into the unlimited part of our recall the moment by felt this or where you felt powerless or anxious. Try and recall this storm in your mind, storm of thought, telling you how there was nothing done, nothing that are going through this right now. Let us imagine somebody that is currently depressed, very sad, that doesn't see the light of the tunnel. Now, these situations in our life are most likely temporary. Sure, we've been there many times. Some of it leaves as a result. So, with that clarity, with that knowing that these mental phenomena too are impermanent, let us bring hope in our mind to those people. Let us bring relief for them. Let us wish deeply that they would find the wisdom to put an end to the mental maelstrom. So let us feel the emotion and the relief of exchange our love with those that are suffering. Provide them with a solution. Let us do that slowly and deeply as we breathe. For those just joining us, you can take a seat if you want some meditation. Otherwise, the time is by. Have a If you manage to connect with the feeling of pain, you might try breathing deep to find it easy. Try to see where it's anchored, the body, the mind. Let go of those roots that it may not grow in. Your eyes are still closed. Sometimes help to visualize the body, or could be people that you know that are, could be yourself, could be an episode that you have lived. So you really don't want to go through that again. With release, try visualization, bring about the result you would like to see in person. Have a portion of your attention. most likely self-inflicted. Yet the mind will never be put into a cage. It is up to you to free yourself from this and to help others to do it. One great way to get acquainted intimately with theory of my own is simply to open your eyes. If you hadn't noticed most of this session, just open and see that when you do, an entire world is born. This world wasn't there before. Another world. We're in the world of thoughts, emotions, feelings, imagination. And all of a sudden, by opening your eyes, you're coming back to another layer of world, a virtual world that seems real though. And if you open your eyes even wider, then you see that this virtual world is contained into another world, a world that we call real. But then I guess with your third pair of eyes, you can also wake up and see that everything is just a dream that's appearing to your eyes, like on a TV, without your mind. This world does not exist. Think of when you wake up in the morning, go to sleep at night. See how you create the world and how you destroy the world every day. Isn't it the same when you get born, when you die? Just maybe for longer periods. part of our session dedicated to Vipassana, to spiritual meditation. Let us ponder the possibility that everything we have ever known was just a product of our mind. Let us reflect about small acts of creation we do daily, to the bigger ones, to the larger projects of humanity, and how really they're the same, just at a different scale. Let us really bring our to the world slowly, but also let's bring our world to the world. The path of the Dharma practitioner is not a linear one. Actually, this is why it is illustrated by the Dharma wheel. So you can join into Dharma at any time, through any teaching, and it's only as you explore it more and more that you understand anything. It gets more and more subtle. You have to go around that wheel many times. Vipassana meditation means that you're owning the right to understand. your mind today?
Well, still in my head, I think.
That's a good place for your mind to be.
I hope so.
It was peaceful.
So we
Very
have
busy.
people here that have been attending for several weeks now, and maybe others that were not attending but have been practicing for a long while. So I'm just curious. Are you starting to see changes like in your daily life with meditation, or the way you look at the world? How is this affecting your life?
Well, I noticed I used to be very anxious when I'm living with multiple people in the same building, and I probably said this before that sometimes when there was conflict situations, I would be anxious and have to lie in bed until I get myself under control or my heart rate went out of whack. But this week, a couple of times, just like usual, there was something stupid. This time it was about the toilet paper rolls. Apparently, people were not throwing their toilet paper rolls away, and this one guy kind of bursted into everyone's rooms screaming about how we are neglecting the toilet paper rolls. It's stupid, but nevertheless, I kind of slept in late, so I was kind of still a bit sleeping. Well, suddenly he bursted in my room and was talking about these toilet rolls. And first thing that came into my mind was, great. Are you kidding me? I mean, are you an adult just to complain for this? Of course, I stayed polite. He left the door and I told him, next time please knock on the door, will ya? A bit with a sarcastic voice tone.
So
And
you kept your cool.
yeah, I kept my cool, and I even said, oh well, at least I'm awake now, because I kinda overslept, so I'll see it as my alarm clock. Uh, but yeah, it's multiple times now that what used to be such an event in the past would have had me riled up, shaken, like, why would he or she make such a big deal, and now I'm kind of feeling threatened that I don't feel safe because he just came bursting into my room. But now I'm like, it's just stupid to bother. I'm just getting up and doing my day. Even had some fun thinking about the stupidity of it all. But yeah, it's been bettering for me in my anxiety state.
Great, good to hear.
Mhm.
Anybody
Yeah,
else feels a
it
change?
also helps me. Yes, I'm a big overthinker, so it helps to help the mind stay clear of all the thoughts that don't matter, because we all make illusions of the world and think way too far ahead, even when things are not as compelling as they are. And you just imagine how things would be, but that's not really the right way to live. So, and that takes away a lot of anxiety, because if you think about everything, you make things way and way worse. Every social interaction is way worse than you if you imagine it negatively. So yeah, it helps.
I used to with social connections like that, I would always imagine my whole conversation already going prior talking to said person, just so I can imagine every possible scenario so I would be prepared. But thinking back at it, the only thing that causes it, apart from anxiety before even going to said person, is that you might just stumble from one point
That's
to
so
the other.
true.
Yeah, suddenly you're making a fool out of yourself, and you're like, what the heck are you even talking about? What's going on with you? And I'm like, oh, nothing. I
Yeah.
have like 100 ways I was planning this conversation, and I'm just jumping from one point to the other. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
thinking much more ahead than the person you're talking with. Actually, they don't
Yeah,
have that big a plan.
and they're like, okay, what the heck are you talking about? You're talking like, what is the deal? Like, what's going on?
I
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah, these are great
I'm
examples. I like the toilet paper thing as well. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Like,
it
I'm seriously.
it goes to show.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, go on.
Mhm.
I have to say,
So,
uh,
I
uh,
mean, it just goes to show that if you want to make uh, a big mess, a big thing out of something very unimportant, see how for for a few hour, some people are able to make an entire building revolve around a toilet paper roll. I mean, if that's the if that's the dimension that you're giving your life in that moment, see how small that is.
Yeah.
Just ridiculously
The
small.
fact that he went knocking with everyone for the toilet paper, I'm like, are you guys bored and just trying to find something to complain about your frustration or something? But yeah,
That's
like,
true also what
mhm.
you were saying, that we are playing discussions in our mind before they happen.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes after they happen, you know?
Oh yeah,
Trying to
Yeah.
change the past.
yeah.
I
That
I
doesn't go
really
too well either.
I really relate with
I'm
this
glad
idea of
it's helping you.
Oh, who
I'm
was
always
talking?
Anybody
worrying.
on the other side of the room? Now it's I guess I didn't do a good job on this side because everybody left. But I got
Oh.
a few people left.
Oh. Okay.
No, 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 not everybody. But the cushions were full. How are you, Malka? How's your practice these days?
Oh, hold on.
Okay. So Beans was talking about something.
Yeah.
Oh, was he? I
Um.
couldn't hear him.
Oh, sorry. I really relate. I worry a lot and I overthink and I plan out conversations before they even happen. Um. But I have to be honest and say that I really haven't been seeing any improvements. Um. But like I find uh meditating, I actually get really stressed out. uh, I'm really not very good at it. Like the whole time I'm thinking, like my brain goes straight to conversations, and it takes so much effort for me to go back to the breath or whatever. Um, and so in this 15-minute session of meditation or however long, I only get like maybe 2 minutes of actual dedicated meditations. But I'm just gonna
Yeah, but that's
stick
good.
to it and hope that
That's
after
good.
a
Even two
while
minutes is very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's
hope that
improvement.
Even
I see an
even just a
improvement.
few
Yeah,
seconds, that's an improvement.
yeah, and
Well,
sometimes
actually,
We will improve slowly but surely.
I realized that I couldn't hear Beans at all, so I reloaded the world, and now I just got the end what we're saying, Beans, and
Ah, great.
what I
Yeah,
understand is
I
that.
thought so.
yeah,
Thank you,
No
Mark.
problem.
it's
I
right.
feel that you're saying that your meditation practice is kind of tough and that you're making slow progress or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I find it really difficult, and I always have. I've tried it before, and yeah,
okay.
I find it
So
really difficult.
the moment that we take a look at our mind and to notice how chaotic it is meditation. We get this idea that meditation is the part where it's peaceful and everything's under control and everything's going fine. But that's not it. Otherwise, we could say that living in the world is only valid when it does what we want and it's under control and it's peaceful. Well, what are the chances of that happening? Pretty close to none, right?
Right.
So, so meditation actually, in a way, is making friends with the chaos inside of you. It's noticing that your mind does that all the time, and as it does, it slowly loses its power, and then the peace will naturally increase. But it's not like you should try to feed the peace. It's more like you should try not to feed the chaos. Just like look at it separated from it, and slowly, as you not giving it anything to eat, it will die of starvation. But that's a
Hmm.
process.
That
Some people, yes,
that reminds me of what you were saying. I think it was a few weeks ago about trying to control my mind, trying to control yourself, and yeah, I don't know.
I
yeah,
explained this
there's
to a
an
friend of
entire,
mine.
yeah,
I just explained this to a friend of mine. It's like meditating. It's like when you're riding a bicycle, and when you start meditating, you just stop hitting the wheels, basically. So I mean, I don't know what the English term for it is, but if you stop like putting
pedaling.
actively energy in, that's when you start meditating. And then of course you just don't stop right away, because if you don't hit the brakes, then
Yeah,
you just roll. But it's
makes sense.
just the energy goes out of the vehicle, basically. That's what meditation does. So
And I
after a
mean,
time, it stops.
and one reason for our insanity is trying to control, actually trying to control the uncontrollable. So meditation is really that place where you shouldn't do that. And it's a shame because so many people get stuck in the like the traveling in their mind part. Like they go to I don't know, to waterfalls and mountains and peaceful place, and they use their mind as a canvas to paint on. But that's still another form of subtle control. It's not really meditation. You're just generating sweet experiences for yourself, while um, reality is dry and painful oftentimes, and it's more like you want to be there taking the entire world in without it being able to hurt you. And so, and also some masters argue that when you start to notice just how messed up your mind is actually because you are becoming more lucid. It's because there are some times where your mind is messed up, but you don't notice it. You're just stuck in it. But when you can take that step back and look at it and say, "Oh my God, I have no control over my mind at all." When you notice that, that's an insight. That's useful because just the act of noticing means you're not stuck in it. So don't get discouraged. Actually, there are there are more agreeable meditation sessions than others, but it's all good. Whatever
It's all
arises,
good.
you work with, and if it's nice, it's nice, and you can say, "Hey, I've enjoyed myself today." And if it's difficult, then that's just what it is. Uh, we are trying to cure ourselves from our most deeply ingrained addiction. This is much stronger
My advice
than
is the more difficult the meditation session is, the more rewarding it is, actually.
yeah,
If you can actually pull
yes.
through it.
It means that real work is happening, which
Yeah.
is the difficulty. And I would agree with that. Doesn't mean that
Oops, sorry.
we need to fall into asceticism, which is the other extreme of delusion. There, some people start hurting themselves just to deal with the pain. Uh, I mean, they will pretend, they will say that it makes you grow stronger and faster. And that's kind of the basis for Satanism and some of other underground spirituality. Um, I can
It
see,
makes
I can
some kind
tell
of
that
sense.
yeah, it does make sense.
Not a
What does
good
that,
kind of sense.
but what does not make sense is to be self-destructive. So there's also a
Yeah.
subtle delusion there. So
Yeah.
the middle way, that's what they say about Buddhism, that it is the middle way. So you don't go into the extremes of pleasure, but you don't go to the extremes of pain either. You just kind of dance with whatever comes past. And
Interesting.
so what's important, I guess, is to be resilient and just always go back in. And it's the same with any addiction. It doesn't matter if you relapse. Just go back to your original resolution and you'll make it. what's wonderful in Buddhism is that once you have solved this primordial addiction that you have to the solidity of the world, the attachment that you have to, then all other addictions start to lose power as well, because they're kind of all based on the illusion as well. So it's a very good thing to, a very impactful thing to do. All right. I mean, while we're at it, any other commentary? We could take one last, and then maybe we move to Dharma Cafe for those that want to get there.
Well, I'm at least glad those guys didn't came stealing the show while we were in the meditation. So
You were a bit talking,
Exactly.
yes, a bit.
yeah, I kind of told them if they could stay outside the last part of the session. Don't know if they left or listened,
Yeah, but
but
we're meditators. We should be able to handle this. Kinda.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed also because you're kind of facing the other way, but session I would say that there were easily 12 to 15 people that walked in and had no idea what was going on. We had maybe three that were
Nope.
the, av-
or,
the
Or
average
you.
the average intelligence of VR chats.
I
It's
no,
down there.
it's
What
let
happened?
let them do it. Let's just be
Nerdito.
open to this.
It
It's
just
fine.
became a
to
popular
understand.
server and with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maalis na
I
ako
think you
dito.
see a friend
I
on
feel
your
like they're
friends list that's
hostile.
online and you want to join them.
No, 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 no.
And they don't know
Yeah,
that we're
pretty
here.
much.
Maalis na ako. Oh, putang ina.
We are receiving about 500 visitors every day now in this little room. So of
No
course
way.
some
Oh,
come
wow.
here, and I really love when I see two or three, and then oops, I see them popping up in the Discord, and then they're back the next day. But you know, a lot of them might have a rocky entrance because well, they don't know about any of this, and that's fine. And let's just be open. And one thing we could do when that happens is just pause. You know, just pause. Just let us give them the stage a little bit. If they want to tell something to us, we can have a small discussion, and then we resume with our regular session. What I've been doing today was just ignoring because I thought, you know, they will understand at some point, and I think after going around the temple three times, it was not that funny anymore, and they were kind of moving away. So yeah, if you don't, it's just like thoughts. If you don't feed it, it starves, and eventually it goes away. So that's pretty
Any
much
rules
my
outside the
thought.
building help, or do we provoke them to do something?
Hmm. I think that in the public instance we have a sign outside saying what we do here, and there's even a schedule. So I mean, if they're here on scheduled time, they should understand that this is happening. That's all. If they
Oh.
want to join, they join. If they want to troll, they
Mm.
troll. And I'll sleep well anyway. I guess you guys will too.
We will meditate through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's good practice.
That's what we
You
do.
know, yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So
In VR
for
school,
those that
they
want,
in
yes,
VR school
sorry.
they have in VR mystery school. I mean, they have now changed it that you see like when you before you're going through the entrance, you actually see
In
a
session.
notice that sorry the VR mystery school when they whatever lectures they have he's now have implemented basically like some kind of transparent that tells you that you should be quiet and that the lecture is going on, for example. So that would also be an idea.
Yes, actually, that's what we're planning to do. It's just the dev team is very busy because we have many projects right now. But next to the spawn point, we want to pop like a panel that before you can walk farther into the world, you would read that there's a possibility that there is a session and to approach quietly.
Oh yeah, I've seen those before in certain worlds. Yeah.
But at the same time, guys, let's consider it for another point of view. I was reading on Facebook in the VR chat community group. People are saying, that VR chat is not like it was 2 years or 3 years ago because before instances were more public, people were more open to streaming, and it was easier to make friends and all of that. So I think we need to be contributing to that openness and to welcoming others and giving them a good experience. If you want to change a culture, you need to change individually. And I just feel that it's our responsibility to kind of take that initiative. Anyway, so I guess for today, that's yes. Sorry.
Yes, let's go to the cafe.
Yeah, let's do that. So, all rise, please. We'll do the dedication and disband.
Yes.
I was muted, sorry. Dedication. For the benefit of beings without exception, I dedicate without any reticence whatsoever all the merit accrued through virtuous acts to the incomparable expanse of totality.
Thanks to all of you for participating today.
Yes, and
We will drop a portal outside if you come with it.
Hey, Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight? I'm Silkson, waiting for the sequel.
Seems that your microphone is a bit not so loud because you were like catching out during the meditation session.
Yeah, I had to remove this from my area.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I couldn't drop the portal because I have to do it out of the way. Just a second.
Oh. Everyone's staying back. Hi, Zago.
Alright.
Hi.
There's one there.
Also,
It's gonna be nice when we have the Dharma Cafe Island as well, so we can just go from one world to the other easily.
True.
So was Carl still on the road? Did
No,
he get some news?
Carl is back. I think he's recovering some energy from his travel quite a distance. He has to go.
Did it work though?
I don't know. He says that he will talk about it later after Shoshin and stuff. So I'll let him recover for now.
Right. Hey Barley, how did you like your first session with us?
I don't know yet. I haven't processed everything.
Yeah, it's a lot to
That's all right.
process.
It's all your fault.
So the benches didn't really work for me this time. I was going through the ground.
Oh really? Well, I saw you
Yeah.
fine though, but I think you found another technique of sitting at some point.
Yeah, I can manipulate height, so. Also
thing
very
is that
easy.
the code,
Space mover, maybe.
the code didn't change for us, so it's about how it
Okay.
syncs with the server. So maybe there was
Yeah.
more or less lag today, and it wouldn't sync you good.
It's weird. I just was going in the ground beneath the temple when I go sit. Then I sit again, and then I was on top of the temple. So
Really?
I call that an out-of-body
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes, you ascended.
I've been enlightenment.
Rapture.
Descended.
Used to have those things all the time a couple of years back. I'm glad I don't have them anymore.
Maybe that's a good thing.
I didn't like them. Like they gave me insomnia.
No. Oh, that's terrible.
I'm sorry I'm getting kind of late on the last sessions because I'm starting to learn like in college in Zoom and it's falling down together with the other lessons.
Oh, nice. Nice that you're back at school.
Yeah. What
It's
are you
college.
studying?
It's like, wow, we have a changes. This wasn't that bright.
Nice. Spot of tea, anyone?
No, we have
Yes.
some.
Almost certainly.
Oh no.
Depends where
Oh,
you
the
put the
British
salt.
here. I thought we had Brexit.
Depends if you put milk in it.
Put the tea away.
Actually, I think I fixed the. You could see the table through the saucer before, so finally managed to fix that.
You know, I do have to say
Are
during
yeah.
the meditation that we had to close our eyes. That's actually the first time that I closed my eyes, because otherwise we always have to keep our eyes a little bit open. And I do have to say that I got quite an eerie sensation in the beginning, because a couple of times I had to shake it off me, that I haven't felt in since I think I was almost a kid. I used to have this weird feeling sometimes that prevented me to sleep properly. And the only way that I can explain the sensation is that on the one hand, you have a very lightweight feeling, like almost that of a feather, like you are barely there, and affected by gravity like a feather. And on the other side, you have this mountain-like object that feels like the weight of the center of the earth itself, like two stark conflicting things that almost sit next to each other. It used to terrify me a lot as a child, and I never really know how to properly convey the feeling. But it felt like
I've had something very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, I had dreams like sometimes.
How was it for you, Beans?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when I go into that really deep state at the start of like when I'm trying to meditate, it kind of freaks me out because I feel like I'm kind of, I don't know.
It like
tingling.
How I would explain
like,
is that you start with some small objects and you start to zoom out until like you something far bigger than your comprehension looks at that small object, and it's almost occupying the same space as that object, and there's the contrast between the extremities of small and light and the vastness and the heavy weight of it. It just freaks me out, and I used to have that a lot as a child.
You should look into a thing called Alice in Wonderland syndrome. It's a real thing, and it happens to a lot of children. It feels like everything is really big, or small, or heavy, or light, or it is really odd.
Within seconds of each other, right? Within seconds of each other, right?
Yeah, that's what freaks me out.
But also the Yogi Patanjali, the father of modern yoga, wrote about this. It was one of the first cities that were documented that you could, they would say that, through meditation you gain the power to make yourself as big as you want or as small as you want. So you would think that they're talking literally, like you could become a giant, but actually they're talking about the mind becoming spacious and small like this.
Yeah, but it
So
rather
it's just your relationship with it.
it rather felt like my mind was split in two,
So
and
there
one
is,
went really small, and the other
from
one
where I live,
went
if you go up
the
the road a
size
ways,
of,
there's a
I
Buddha
don't
shrine
know.
up there.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
So
Nice.
it was like it was
And
split
what
in
country?
two, and both were going in separate directions.
So-
And
United States.
Oh,
So try to cultivate surrender and
Like, I always pass by it, I
vulnerability
just
when
never
that
went
is
up
there. Like surrender to the experience, but don't follow the thoughts that are freaking out. Just allow it to happen. There's a Buddhist story that I love about this guy that is conquering all of the neighboring countries, and he goes into that village, and there's this monk. Everybody is flew, but the monk stayed there. And he said, "Hey, monk, don't you know that I could cut you in two with my sword without blinking an eye?" And the monk says, "Well, don't you know that you could cut me with your sword and I wouldn't blink an eye?" You know, there is something in Buddhism about this relationship with fear, where you accept to be vulnerable, where you accept to be hurt, and you think nothing of it. And so when you're dealing with the cities or the meditative experiences, and it starts to freak you out a little bit, just try to bring back your mind and see how healthy it is to restore your vulnerability. Because in daily life, we run away from threats all the time. That's what makes us anxious, and that's what makes us aggressive sometimes. It's just the threat that we perceive and that we try to defend against. But if you could lose that reflex, if you would accept pain as part of life, then there is no need to defend about it, and you will automatically stop freaking out too. Oh, somebody's playing piano somewhere.
Well,
Yeah,
it's an interesting it's an interesting sensation, nevertheless. But I just don't understand why it suddenly came up from something so many years ago, out of nowhere.
Sorry, this is like amazing me because I've had the exact same experience and I've never spoken to someone else who has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also the beautiful
I
thing
somehow sat on
to me with
something.
Buddhism, is that we spend our lives
sat
kind
on
of
something
hiding
and it put
ourselves.
me on the floor.
We try to hide
Interesting
ourselves from
something.
others sometimes,
just
and
discussion.
as we speak and as we share, you discover that we're all built the same.
Now he
basically.
comes back.
So, I mean, I kind of almost forgot
there is no
about
such
it
thing.
until it happened today
It's
again.
getting late, so I guess I will go sleep.
And then suddenly I
Have some
remembered it
few
all
minutes,
again.
So,
To me, honestly, there is no such thing as a sane person or an insane person. We're just a different degree of insane, all of us. But when we start thinking and talking about our insanities, then we discover that, I feel that too.
I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, but isn't that kind of what we do in daily life when every time we wake up? Or what a yin-yang symbol, that it kind of symbolizes that everything, has an order that circles around. It's kind of like insanity itself now. Little bit.
Right, but insanity, let's change this definition, Casper, and I know where you get that from. That's I think that was Einstein's definition. But let's just think that insanity is fear. If you live afraid, you're basically insane, and we're all afraid of something. It might not just be the same thing at the same time, and not to the same degree. But when you live in fear, everything about you becomes insane, isn't it? Can you all see that?
Yeah, true, I guess. Although
until we are free of fear, we cannot really be sane. Yes.
Although Trump doesn't seem that fearful, yes, he's definitely insane. Well, that's what I think.
But that helps him.
Who? Well, he doesn't have a lot of fear, it seems at first sight, that guy, does he? He's always there on the stage, always talking like he's the number one fella in the world. Yet he's definitely insane when you look at it from the outside.
Well, that is on the other hand of the spectrum. That's like ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
You know, they say when you're insane and you know it, you're like a bit saner than the one that is completely insane and doesn't know.
Oh yeah, I guess
I
so.
guess, I guess
if you
a lot of
accept
people
you
fall
are
that.
insane, it helps. Yeah.
To be fair, I do think that being completely ignorant like Trump, I talked this about before, like we often talk about philosophical stuff. Being so simple-minded that you just don't care about anything, it must be some kind of blissful feeling as well, you know, like not
But it
caring at
is
all.
Casper. Maybe Trump or somebody like him make a lot of people suffer around him. But does he suffer? Is he conscious enough to suffer from his own action and his own environment? Maybe. I don't know really. But that's where the ignorance is bliss comes from. That if you don't notice the evil that you're doing, then you're doing no evil. It's as simple as that.
I think Trump is
However,
suffering. It's just he's not realizing it, I think.
oh yeah, I mean, just look at his reactions with the elections, or it's pretty much Trump against the world when you look at his entire campaign and his entire existence as a president, and that's why the states are so divided right now.
For me,
and he alienated pretty much everyone.
Not only that, but I was talking with someone. Certain people are really happy at his downfall, you could say, and I was talking with some people that were almost celebrating. I kind of said that I, in a way, still feel sad for him, because he has a lot of stuff that a lot of people would want, like a family, children, fame, but it's all kind of fake. Like, his wife definitely doesn't really like him. His children try to avoid him. His fame, well, it's a bunch of quite extreme people following him throughout. And I don't know, some part of me just feel like he already is getting punishments, but even though he maybe doesn't know it yet. I don't know, I just feel it's sad,
I think so. It's just
in my opinion.
His father, as far as I know, didn't really treat him that well, and basically he's just wanting to be loved. That's what you see. This narcissistic behavior is actually like a phase, I think, childhood phase that he's just stuck in.
He's not getting out of the phase. He's already in his 70s. I mean,
No.
I don't think he's ever going to get out.
But still in that.
Yeah.
But because of it, he's suffering, I think.
He is Donald Trump. That is his crime, and that is his punishment.
Right?
Yeah.
He's just an individual. It's funny, this week something happened to me that was quite unexpected. I've been trolled by a Democrat and been called a Trump supporter.
What?
Because I had published on social media that there were alternatives to Facebook and LinkedIn and all of these platforms that are using your personal information very aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy had this perception that I was talking about that because I was supporting Trump and Trump being kicked out of Twitter and all of that. But there was no way of convincing him, and I was telling him, I'm not for Trump and I'm not against Trump. Trump is just a guy, and he's not the first lunatic to be governing a country, by the way, and there will be more.
I mean, I've been called a Trump supporter because I don't really fancy Biden and Kamala Harris as well. For me personally, it was like you really didn't have much choice with this two-party system going on, you know? It was either this or that, you know? But then people, I guess you're for Trump. And I said, no, I'm just for neither. I mean, shut up. it's like, there comes a point that the Democrats...
Just for fun, let's go back to what Zalgo was saying about Trump growing up, and let's imagine, you know, what are the fears in the life of Trump? Probably one of it is not making his father proud. Probably the Trump family has also this pride and this feeling of superiority, which is also division and separateness. So and they've been called notorious racists, and he's obviously a sexist as well. So it's a family that's been dividing themselves from the rest of the world, like always, but trying to be on top of the pack and dominating others as well. So they're bullies. Now, if I was to ask any bully, I'm sure you would tell me that he feels lonesome sometimes. because it's difficult to alienate the entire planet and to feel in harmony with it at the same time. Uh, Feeling superior is not necessarily a good feeling, not always, at least.
That's
And so,
kind of why I feel sad for him, to be honest.
yeah, but at the same time, it's a very good case study for Buddhism because you can see that no matter how you have succeeded materially, no matter how superior you think you are and others think you are, there is this sadness, this loneliness, this separateness that is inherent to all of this. And it just goes to show that this American dream, at least, is broken. It's a good roadmap of what not to do.
I think any dream is broken, like the concept of American dream, because that would imply there's one dream every American should strive for, while dreams should be individual based and not something and concepts that you have to work for. As I mean, it almost feels like, I mean, I think GTA actually makes a lot of jokes, the GTA games, about the whole American dream. Don't know if anyone plays GTA here.
Nope.
Grand
I played a
Theft
bit of
Auto.
GTA 4. I know what you're talking about.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be the individual's dream instead of, you know, a country's dream or something.
You know, George Carlin had a good saying about it. He said they call it the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I like that one.
I love Carlin. Carlin was a very woke comedian, much before the years.
Oh, careful with the concept of woke. It's being used in a different way now.
Unfortunately.
Or a cup of liberal
Yeah, so,
tears.
have a
But now
question.
it's no longer 2016, so now it's something else.
Well, these
Okay,
old
so
teachings
Senke?
have been
Oh, hold on.
turned into popular culture now. Yes, Jared?
Yeah, I have a question. Sometimes I've been meditating for many years. Sometimes when I'm really relaxed, it feels like my brain goes kind of asleep for a split second. Like literally the thing you feel when you go to sleep. Like you black out for a split second and come back. What is that?
It could be you nodding to sleep, actually. The thing is that you would be the last to know. But
Well, it
if
might
you,
be, but still, it happens when I'm really awake.
So I would say that's a glimpse of emptiness, if you will. That would be a glimpse of enlightenment when you feel that your mind is completely
Yeah, I was
blank.
hoping it was that.
Yeah. So now your your goal would be to stabilize that, stretch that, and try
Yeah.
to bring more of those glimpses in your life.
It rarely happens, but it's interesting when it happens. Like for a split second, there's nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah, this
Actually,
does.
what happens if you manage? Sorry. Yeah.
This doesn't happen during the regular day, does it? Because there's something called what you said about microsleep, and some people have it while driving cars, and that has caused some accidents.
Yeah, that's something way different.
Yeah. Okay. Because I actually know
I
a
can
lot of
literally
situations.
feel it in my brain. It's kind of like I'm falling down to nothing. For a split second.
So once I went on a retreat and I was trying to stabilize my practice in those years, and we were doing 5 hours of meditation every day, which is quite a lot. And my meditation was very non-conceptual, so my mind wasn't doing anything. So I was kind of sitting in my mind with my mind blank like this. But then after a while, I remember the struggle. Like I would fall asleep every meditation session because of that. And the master back then had told me that it happens pretty much to all of the monks when the meditation becomes non-conceptual. Then your mind is not excited by anything and is not tied to anything. So although it might not start with sleep, it might, if you stretch it for a while, it might end up in sleep. And that's when you really have to kind of expand your posture a little bit and look up and open your eyes a bit more. And
yeah.
But for now, I mean, if you can stay in the blank, and to the point that you fall asleep, it would be a good indication that your meditation is non-conceptual, and so that you are progressing on the path.
Well, the weird thing is, sometimes it happens when I'm at work, and I have nothing to think about. Suddenly I feel like, kind of like, it feels so weird. It's been happening for maybe past 10 years, 2 times a year, even before I started meditating.
And when you come back from the state, there's nobody poking you with a stick trying to see if you're alive.
No. Just a split
How do you
second.
know this? How do you know
Then I
that it's
guess
just a
it's all
second?
right.
Yeah. But it feels so weird.
It's Corona time, man. You need a stick.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't seem like it's something dangerous or undesirable.
Yeah, I always wanted to ask a meditator, an experienced one, what is it?
Right. Well, the only thing I can tell you is that non-conceptual is kind of what brings you closest to the primordial mind, when you are free of the human concepts of language, of color, of shape, of emotions, and when you're just kind of experiencing the thing that you cannot put into words. This is probably very close to the enlightened state. You cannot experience as a human while you're living full enlightenment, because you are still conditioned by your body and by the feelings that you get as a human, right? So the only way to be the stuff would be to dissolve into the stuff, and that only happens when we die, and that's what they call parinirvana. But that's as close as you're gonna get those non-conceptual experiences where you can just rest.
We'll try to work on that.
Peace.
Actually,
yeah,
when I was
definitely
really
bring your attention to it.
I spent like 4 hours every single day for a few weeks meditating. That really did a lot.
Nice. Keep it up.
Well,
It was difficult.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore. That was like 5 years ago.
Oh. Maybe with some assistance of sound or something.
Usually, I used to do it on vacation. Have 4 weeks vacation. 1 hour the first week, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours last week.
A day?
So if we look at it differently, let's say that's let's call it the center of your being, and let's say that all of a sudden, sometimes you fall to the center of your being, where there's nothing to push you off center.
Yeah.
So this tends to happen more as you don't feed the thoughts, and you don't feed the emotions, and you don't feed the habits. So if you want to bring that more into your life, you just need to kind of change your relationship with everything, and as you put less energy in the things that throw you off balance, then you kind of fall back to your center naturally.
Yeah.
And that's the process of it.
Yeah, I know
But
the
it takes
theory,
time.
but the practice is really hard and difficult.
Yeah, the only way is to be aware and attentive at every moment of the day, so that you don't fall in the traps of daily life.
Yeah.
But yes, it's difficult.
These meditation sessions actually really help a lot.
Oh, I'm happy with that.
Well, it helped with my anxiety as well, so I see the benefits of it. Yeah. It took time though. It took time. It still takes time.
Well,
And
you
now
know what
does
I'm
someone-
proudest, Casper, in your path that I have noticed. I remember the first 1 or 2 sessions that you came and you were saying, this is unbeatable, there is no end to this, I will be stuck with that forever. And I kind of saw that vocabulary kind of getting out of your phrases slowly. I feel that you have hope now that you can improve. beyond medication?
Actually, I do. Yeah, I decided to. I mean, I used to be someone that, and it helped me a lot through life itself as well, that I could see almost every possible scenario, and sometimes in a lot of stuff it helped me actually in life. But there are many times that it just blocks you from living in the present. You know, you're just not in the present living anymore. You're always living in the constant state about possible scenarios in the future, and the amount of energy you put in thinking all of the different ways that things can go to. I mean, the amount of stress that builds up into you. It disturbs your sleep, it disturbs your subconsciousness. Living in the present, in the now, is a lot more difficult than people realize.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it is definitely.
I think the overthinking is really a way of coping with all this anxiety in you.
Yeah.
When really you need to live in the present and get rid of the anxiety, which won't happen just by thinking about it.
I mean, it's also how we are
into the future, or back into your memory, or imagination.
I mean, it's how we are conditioned as well in school, you know. I mean, we have to go to school in order to be able to work. We have to go to work in order to make money, to be able, if we go to pension or you know, or retirement, we always live for the future. That's kind of what everyone does. And when I go to my mom, when I went to my mom's today, I kind of told Senke, but the first thing my mom, it is not like how is your day to day or how was your day to day going. It's like, have you paid all your bills for this month? Have you done everything for the next month? What about the stuff coming in? Like in a couple of months, you will have to go back for your car, and I'm like you haven't even asked about what's going on today, mom. But you know, it's how people are, you know. But yeah.
But my mom is, here's food, please eat more food, more food, more food.
Oh, yeah.
That's my mom.
Used to have an aunt like that.
Eat more food. That is the same thing.
Yeah.
I took a full plate with my dad. That's all you can eat?
You look like Keanu Reeves. Have more food.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
Hey, just asking, guys. Like Queen and Power Lines. How did you like it? You think you would come back to another session? Because my question is not innocent. Actually, I'd like to connect with you guys if you want to join the next one. It's not always in the same spot.
Yeah, I'd be down.
And for me, it was interesting that Bean seems to experience the same scenario as I did. That's actually the first time someone said that they also experienced such thing.
I remember when I first came across it online, and it was just like mind blowing. I'll send you a link.
So
how often does this group meet?
On every Monday, every Wednesday, and also sometimes on Fridays when we have special events. So it's twice every Monday, actually, at 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know where you're from. But...
How did you get here?
I'm from North Carolina. Actually, I just kind of found you in my friends list, and I found this place, and you were there, and I was like, hey, I wonder what Salgo's up to. And then when I realized what was going on, I just kind of... just sat there and paid attention, I guess.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, in Casper.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have experienced Alice in Wonderland syndrome myself, except, funnily enough, I only ever experience it when I'm tripping on LSD.
Oh, I never done LSD.
I think that's a different way of experiencing it.
It's the weirdest thing. I'll just go to the bathroom and I'm like, I am so small in this bathroom, and everything's just so big around me, and I'm like, no, I'm a giant here. Everything is so tiny, and those thoughts just come within seconds of each other, and it's just It's just like it just kind of.
Actually, the best way
It
to
just kind
explain
of goes in a circle that way.
the best
How
way
am I
to
going to
explain it
clean this if I'm so
the
small?
best way to explain it visually is if you ever watch the documentary about the universe, that you see our star that's so much bigger than the planet, and then suddenly you see the star of the next solar system that's like 100 times bigger than said star, and then you see another star that's like 1000 times bigger
Yeah, I see
than
that.
said star, and it goes beyond and beyond and beyond, and you see that small
Yeah.
dots of our sun getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and
Wow.
yeah, that's how you can visually.
My best way of describing it would be if you've ever seen a video of someone, if you stand really far away from someone with a camera and you're zoomed in on their face.
Yeah,
But then you walk forward towards them and zoom out, so their face fills up the same amount of space, but everything around them is changing and warping. In distances aren't correct and sizes are incorrect and they change and morph.
Indeed, I also have a
And it's
zoomed
very
feeling.
bizarre.
I also have a feeling like I'm zoomed in.
Yeah.
I had it with racing cars always, or fast moving objects sometimes. Very weird.
Speed,
By the way,
speed and
when I was
velocity is
young,
just broken.
I used to have, when I was watching TV, really focused. Sometimes I felt really tall, like my head was up in the ceiling. I have no idea what that is. But I enjoyed it.
That bad TV programming will do that to you.
Well,
it's over my
I don't
head.
know, but it felt so weird.
Oh.
There's
So
a
I
haze
have a
above my
question.
Yes.
Yes.
How does Buddhism go with relationships that you need to do? So if you are with a woman or something and something goes wrong, or because there comes a lot of anxiety and overthinking in being in a relationship or trying to do the right thing, and you need to keep your calm.
Right. Basically, the position would be you take it upon yourself. The entire relationship becomes your responsibility. And there is a story, I don't remember it extremely well, but I'll try it. Maybe you guys have heard it before. It's the story of the monk that said, "Is that so?" And it goes more or less like this. One time, a girl went into the monastery, and she requested an audience with a young and nice-looking monk. And she stayed there for a while, I think overnight. And the next day, the monk was accused by his superior of having slept with the woman. And so he was expelled. And so when the monk heard that, he said, "Oh, is that so?" And he took his thing and he was expelled from the monastery. And he was told by the family, "Well, now that you're expelled and now that you have done that, you need to care for the child, for the woman." And so he said, "Is that so?" And he took responsibility of the woman. And then the woman apparently was with child, and so she gave birth, and they said, "This child is yours." And he said, "Is that so?" And he cared for the child. And so after a few years, the child grew, and at some point the woman went back to the monastery and said, "This monk I had been raped actually, and I went to see this monk to get support, and he has never done it. The child is, and I am so sorry that I put him through all that." And so the family, requested the pardon of the monk, and the monastery reintegrated it. And all he had to say was, "Is that so? Is that so that you made a mistake?" and that's kind of how we need to relate ourselves with the world. Am I a thief? Am I a bad guy? Am I not, picking my dirty clothes fast enough? Am I not washing the dishes often enough? Is that so? Is the right answer to everything. And then Do whatever you can to make
Is that
Uh,
But you understand that you require an incredible amount of moral fortitude to be able to pull something like that. But that would be kind
Yeah.
of the Buddhist goal, right?
Interesting.
So it's
Hey,
basically love then.
Yes, love yourself and love them. Don't make a fuss about everything. I'm gonna have to go. I still have some things to do this afternoon. But hey, thank you guys for showing up. It was fun being with you again. And I'll see you soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a problem.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.
See you next week.
I still have to find a jungle biome in Minecraft that I've been looking for 2 days straight. So that's something I'll do later.
How do you need to find in Minecraft?
A jungle biome, I've been looking it for 2 days straight. It's all I've been thinking about. Even in the meditation, I was like, later. Jungle biome comes later. Want those darn pandas. I want those darn pandas.
I'm gonna leave now and visit a friend.
Bye, dudes.
See you later, Janet.
Bye. Next time.
Bye.
See you later, Marco.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye. Have a nice week, everyone.
Bye. Yeah, I'm gonna leave too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Nice to meet all of you.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Mhm.
Bye.
So how's
You
that
could
thing
make an
called?
avatar of power lines.
Alice in Wonderland syndrome?
Yeah. Have you heard about Alice in Wonderland, the book?
Of course, I have the book. I
Yeah.
know. I read about it. You talk about the part
Well-
where she grows big and small. You mean?
Yeah, exactly. She falls down the rabbit hole, and then she grows big, and she can't fit through the door, and then she's small, and she has to find a smaller door. She can't reach onto the table, and yeah, very very weird stuff. I mean, people have said that Charles Dickens maybe had the Alice in Wonderland syndrome, but I don't know.
Well, he made a book that's almost like someone tripping off LSD. I can tell you that. I mean, they actually made some good video games of that where Alice was actually a child whose parents died in a violent way, and she was in a mental institution, and the whole Wonderland was her way of insanity, of escaping the confinements and that imprisoned her. I think Alice in Wonderland 2 is on the PC, actually on Steam. It's quite horrifying because I'm looking for the very first Alice in Wonderland game. It's not on Steam. It used to be on PC, I think, but I can't find it anywhere. But it's quite terrifying to look at. It's almost like a horrific version of Alice in Wonderland.
I always wanted to play that, but I never got the chance to do it. No time.
The gameplay seems a bit old-fashioned, but I really like the concepts that it's like it's like insanity itself that she's trying to escape from, while she's actually in an asylum.
Weird.
It's an interesting concept, the whole Alice in Wonderland storylines. And then you have, of course, the sequel that a lot of people don't know about if you've read the books. You have Through the Looking Glass, where she, in a way, goes back, and there's this whole symbolism with chess. The movies with Johnny Depp do not do it justice, I can tell you that.
I heard it's not so good, and I haven't watched it.
Johnny Depp does its best. The acting, chop off his head. I mean, she's funny and all. There were some good moments in it, but yeah, it doesn't captivate what Alice in Wonderland is about.
Well, I think one thing that I heard someone say, I can't remember who it was, where I got this from, but what they said was, how long does it take to read a book? Like, how many hours does it take? And it's probably over the span of like at least a week for some books. but a movie is like 2 hours.
Indeed.
You can't fit it all in.
It's the same
No,
concept
definitely
why
not.
there was an interview with the family of J.R.R. Tolkien of the Lord of the Rings, and they told the people left behind, and they asked him, would J.R.R. Tolkien approve of the movie? Like, would he enjoy the Lord of the Rings movie? And they said no, he wouldn't. And they said, why, was it not well made? No, that's not the issue. Was it the acting? No, that's not the issue. Was it because the storyline had difference? No, that's not the issue. So they asked him, what's the issue that J.R.R. Tolkien wouldn't have liked his book on the movie screen? And they said, the issue is that the fantasy feeling, especially because J.R.R. Tolkien was in a very older generation from back in the day, before movies almost, when movies weren't that mainstream, it was an escape in your mind. The fantasy builds in your mind that you built and explored, and that's something a movie can't really do, you know, in the span of even
It's
3
a
hours.
story designed for a different medium.
Yeah, you could say so. It's why
Doesn't translate properly.
Indeed. I mean, I can still enjoy movies about certain things, but I can say that most of the time, the enjoyment you get of a book is always better than the adaptation of the movie. Even with Harry Potter, I still remember just waiting for the sequel of the book coming out, buying it, taking it home, reading it, resting it out, taking time to think about it, and reading, continue the next day. It's not the same as going to the movies and after 2 hours you've seen it all.
I would say that it's comparable to, you know, putting anything into Google Translate into another language, converting from a book to a movie, or vice versa.
Oh yeah.
It's just like neither language is necessarily better, but you're gonna have to lose or add or reinterpret some information in order to you make that translation,
Yeah.
and so it's not perfect.
Also,
I'm reading the Dutch version of the Buddha teaching book that we are learning in English, because I can better understand everything in Dutch. So, and still they use a lot of weird words. I think so. How do I need to interpret this? That's why we have these teachings, and hopefully I can get something from it.
Well, I've been talking with the majority in my server with people all over the world, and most of them use English as the main language. So sometimes I actually have the issue that I forget words in my own language, and I'm like, I know this in English, but what's the Dutch again? I know. Very awkward.
More with the meaning of the words. What was it again in Dutch?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm going. Need to get up early, so. Was nice seeing you guys.
See you later.
See you later.
Nice. See you.
Till next week if you're coming. Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
There goes the Dutch.
I will also leave.
The Dutch.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
We Belgians and the Netherlands sometimes. Hello, kitty. So you had some issues with meditation, did you?
Yeah. I always have.
I had issues Have you done it before? Quite a lot, so not as often.
Not a lot, but I've tried it several times and given up.
I would say try the guided meditations of Senkei that you follow every week, because I used to try with YouTube videos or books saying how to do it, but that felt more like following instructions from a teacher that just dictates words at you, and you kind of lose interest along the way. But it's different when you do it in group like this. But
yeah,
it's kind of the first sign that you have a lot of your mind, and that your mind is trying to distract you from finding your inner calmness.
And I think this session provides so much more. So I'm gonna keep coming back and keep doing the meditation as well. And I do find it really difficult just to, experience something and just ignore it.
Yeah, true.
And just sit with it.
Just do it.
It's
I'd say just like a joint just for the relaxation or just for the group part in a way. Don't immediately expect results because so it's not like you're going to open all your chakras in one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender and become the Avatar Steed, you know?
Well, what is weird is, like you were describing, is previously I've gone in really deep into meditation. I like, I go down some rabbit hole on the internet and I'm like, right, I'm gonna fucking meditate. I'm gonna be a fucking monk, stuff like that. And so I sit down. I'm like, right, today I'm gonna do a body scan. I'm gonna focus on my breathing, and I can just sit there like, and then this one time, like, I went into this state of like the Alice in Wonderland syndrome, and it was bizarre. I was like, and it hadn't happened to that extreme for a while. And the thing about Alice in Wonderland syndrome is, for most people, they get it when they're young, every now and then over teenage years it goes away. And when I went into this state, it had been a while since that I had gone into it and find it difficult to get out. When it's happened in the last couple of years, I felt it. I've known that it was happening, but I could just get out of bed and it would stop, which didn't happen when I was younger.
It wouldn't stop when I was in bed. It would pop up in my dreams. It was annoying. It was scary, actually.
Sometimes I would feel like my bed turned into concrete, or something like that. Like, it's impossible to describe it, obviously, but it just felt hard, like just so like it was made of ice, but it wasn't cold. Just something about it. Everything just felt wrong and off. And sometimes it was really extreme, like the inner dialogue you have in your head, the voice is just talking.
Yeah.
When you're planning out a conversation, it's just talking all the time. Sometimes I would feel that speeding up and getting louder, and almost like it was shouting at me in my head. I'm laying in bed, like sweating, and everything's going really fast through my head, and the world's getting massive and small and far and close, and it's dizzying.
Well,
it's quite scary.
That's something in those voices in your head. That's the first thing they kind of teach you, that you have to separate yourself, that you the individual aren't what all those voices try to make of you. Except close-minded people, they tend to do immediately what pops up in their head. Disastrous results sometimes. But yeah, it's almost like we all have a case of schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder in our minds.
Something like that.
I mean, I've had some very disturbing thoughts sometimes pop up in my head. That I thought, same. Jesus Christ, why did that even pop up out of nowhere? But I don't know, it's like what Senke says himself. The mind is a mystery, and some people, we still haven't discovered much about the brain itself, We've come to the point we can do heart transplantations, but hey, the brain is still a mystery.
When he was talking about the like, I can't remember how he was saying it, but it was reminding me of this talk that Douglas Adams gave Do you know who Douglas Adams is?
No. I think I heard the name
He
before.
he wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know about that. I know about the Hitchhikers. Yeah.
He gave a talk, and oh my gosh, it is amazing. He talks about VR. This is in 1998 or 9, and he talked about like the potential for like VR, and he talked about like conserving the earth and the animals on it, and it was amazing talk. But he also talked about the brain in a way that I'd never heard before. He described it as a modeling machine. It creates a model that, like, the nerves in like our eyes and ears and mouth and skin, they're all just inputs into the brain, and the brain is just interpreting these inputs and creating a model. It's just an interpretation of a world, and from that model it decides what to do.
I mean,
and you could take a brain out of a person and put it into the body of like any animal, and it would just have inputs and it would adjust.
I wouldn't say if we ever discover where the consciousness lie, or if we ever discover, but discovering such things, we're talking almost like when we talk about certain cyberpunk genres like Ghost in the Shell, where you transplant your consciousness into another body. We're close to losing our uniqueness and what makes us humans, if we would go that far. Which is what kind of the whole genre is about, you know, like Ghost in the Shell.
I haven't seen it.
The anime, 1995. Don't watch the movie of Scarlett Johansson. That's the Hollywood crap remake.
Okay.
Watch the original anime movie of 1990. Not the anime series, because that one is stretched. The original video animations of 1995.
An anime movie.
Yes, it talks about where they are able to basically the consciousness of the human mind and transplant them almost like through internet from one body to the other. But people are getting depressed, some perform suicide because what does it all mean anymore? And because there's always someone tinkering to transplant your consciousness, how do you know that they are not tinkering part of your consciousness away? Or, you know, it's the whole fear about technology going further than human advancement, human being able to realize the world around them, you know. They're still using a lot of technology today that we don't fully understand. We know how to push the on and off button, but for most of us, that's it. Even our ancestors, our parents and their parents were scared of this. That's why movies like The Terminator came to be. Fear of technology.
Yeah. Is a bit creepy.
Oh, itself is
What does the future have?
Well, you know, I guess more stuff, hopefully. Nice worlds. I sometimes forget that this world is quite amazing. Quite big as well. Of course, all the way over there, all the way over there. Well, I'll be seeing you then.
Yeah, see you.